Well, here we are again. What's up, my people? What it is, man, I'm trying to get back on that gangster shit, with the mobster files. But they got me stuck in the middle of a war zone. The hell? Man, can you stick me in the middle of a war zone when I'm trying to do mobster files? I'm trying to go back to the Cosa Nostra. Come on now. Why don't we just call the 5 families up in New York and have them handle that shit? Yeah, dig. But in the meantime, since we gotta handle that shit ourselves, so is what it is. So what's happening with y'all? Oh, by the way, they will be drafting, and that means only one thing.
It's so easy to become a podcaster with Riverside. You just need a concept and a way to record it. Here's how it works.
First, we didn't need that. Sorry about that, y'all. But I tell you what, better get ready, because Big Freddie say from 18 to 26, you're coming with me. And Grandma and them been like, man, we trying to get him out the house for the longest time. Anyway, he got to go. Come on now. And look here, it's a felony now. Either go to war and get killed, or go to jail and get killed. Damn, the hell of a decision. You either get blown up by a rocket or hit with a man with a sprocket. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we ain't going out like no suckers. But I tell you what, seemed like Trump want us to follow him anywhere. Man, you better stop it. Somebody get that man up out of here so we can hurry up and get back to normal. Trying to get back onto the Black Power move, the Black Panther, the nightmare view. But in the meantime,
watching the briefing as well there at the Pentagon. Let's start with the Strait of Hormuz. And Secretary Hegseth had a lot of media criticism during that briefing. He also rebutted what has been widespread reporting that the U.S. was taken by surprise, in fact, that Iran was able to seize control of the Strait of Hormuz, more or less close it, and suggesting that, well, this is not an issue. He says, don't need to worry about it. But yet, not just the oil markets, but we know that in the administration, they are deeply concerned. This is a real pivot point for this conflict.
I can tell you, Jonathan, that if Secretary Hegseth is not worried about the Strait of Hormuz, he may be one of the handful of people on the planet who is not deeply worried about the choke point that Iran can impose there. And from all accounts, and I'll tell you based on my classified briefings, there has been inadequate planning for what is happening now in Iran, able and eager to stop the flow of oil and cripple the world economy if necessary. And what we have here is a war of whim and impulse, not even a war of choice, because the word choice implies a rational and calculated approach.
He didn't even ask Congress.
What's happening to the world markets on oil and what we're doing, for example, in rewarding Russia, giving them a windfall by lifting sanctions on Russian sales of oil, we have yet to grapple with Russia's aiding Iran, not only with targeting information, but in other ways as well. So this widening, expanding war is deeply worrisome.
And there's never been a conflict where air power alone brought along regime change. You came out of one of those classified briefings earlier this week, and you were visibly upset and said you were concerned at the possibility of ground troops in Iran. Now, again, we understand there's a limit to what you can say, but tell us what you can as to why you now have that.
Well, first, let me say, Jonathan, as a dad whose two sons served, one is a combat infantry officer in Afghanistan, Marine Corps, and the other is a Navy SEAL. I know what those families of all of the men and women in harm's way are going through right now, laying awake at night, wondering what's happening there, and the families who've lost loved ones. My heart goes out to them.
What about the ones
what
that
we
are about
see
to
is
lose?
A war with a variety of
They want to
objectives.
get us up
None
out
of
of
them
here
clear.
anyway.
Destroying
By any means necessary.
enriched uranium,
Either kill us
regime change,
by the police,
missile production and capacity,
send us off to war.
and stopping
Like, we
terrorism
goddamn fool.
that's sponsored by
Give a
Iran.
damn about that.
None of these objectives is accomplishable
All they're
by
trying to do is
bombing
get the oil.
alone. It has never worked, most recently in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Straits
We
of,
controlled the airspace, we bombed,
Houthis.
and the results speak for themselves. So what I fear is that the objectives, if they maintain them, are achievable only with some presence on the ground. The president continues to talk about special operation forces to secure the enriched uranium. There are hundreds of pounds of it, and also to accomplish regime change. He wants to choose the next leader, and Secretary Hegseth is talking about the potential disfigurement and injuries to the present one. The IRGC is firmly in control. There is no indication that it's
you in a war with them don't mean you in control of
Senator,
their country.
I want to ask you about, you just mentioned the uranium, and I don't want you to go into classified details, but how is the uranium in one location, multiple locations? Do we even know where it is? And what are the dangers in terms of U.S. forces trying to go in on the ground and get it? It's about 1,000 pounds. We've been told
hit
of
that
highly
cash
enriched
app so I can
uranium.
get more.
Just how is that achievable or not?
Well, again,
Bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
I'm limited in terms of what I can say in the details.
I bet you are. You can't
but
say jack.
any
You get
operation
fined
to
quick.
secure that uranium, to take possession of it, will be extremely complex and costly.
I
Now,
believe the First
let me just
Amendment.
emphasize, we have yet to know the true cost of
Freedom of
this war,
speech.
even to date.
If that don't work
The
for you,
figure
I
that we've been
plead
given, in my view,
Second.
lowballs the expense so far, $11 billion. I think it's multiples of that amount. We have yet to know other critical facts
the right
about
to bear
the location of the uranium,
and
whether we
protect
really
my
know
freedom of
where it is.
speech.
So far, the information given to us, even in classified setting, I regard as wholly inadequate. But most important point,
What's
the
wrong
American
with
people
America?
deserve
We
to
do
know
all
the
that
answer to that
shooting over
question.
here.
There is no
But
reason
when
the
it's
American
time to
people
go to
can't
war,
be told the
nobody
cost of
wants
the war
to go
or
nowhere
the
up
potential
off the
cost of
porch.
continuing this operation to secure that enriched uranium.
And Sam Stein, one of the costs, of course, we're seeing the price of oil go up. So the Trump administration
wanna see
has
if them
decided to
switches
lift
work.
sanctions, even just
But then
temporarily, they
again,
say, on some Russian
nobody
oil,
tried.
which is obviously benefits
That's
Vladimir
what
Putin
Iran is
and his
doing.
war
They
machine. It is
using
so
switches on
striking
them
right
with them
now
missiles.
that at this moment in
Like,
this
man,
conflict,
they shooting that shit from underground, homie. You
reportedly
ain't
helping
gonna see
Iran
it coming.
with targeting American assets in the Middle East. Ukraine, meanwhile, actively trying to help the United States with drone technologies. And yet, in the last week or so, Trump's rhetoric is much harder on Zelensky, who he's deemed P.T. Barnum, say that Zelensky's the impediment to peace,
Yeah, we
not
got some
Putin.
corny
And this war in the Middle East almost underscores to Zelensky that actually that's what we care about. The plight of Ukraine, far less so.
Yeah, no, it's this weird sort of secondary element to the war where, like you said, the Ukrainians are helping us with this anti-drone technology. Trump continues to speak negatively about President Zelensky, urging him to bring an end to the war in Ukraine with Russia. And yet at the same time, we're easing sanctions on Russia, which is aiding Iran. If you can follow that diagram, it's a lot of red strings going across the board. But it does raise the question, I suppose, to the senator, which is, can you speak a little bit to the geopolitics here? Obviously, China is quite dependent on Iranian oil. Obviously, Russia is aligned with Iran and helping them with things like satellite imagery and medical help. Is it possible that they end up emboldened by what's happening in the chaos in the Middle East? Or I've heard conversely the other argument, which is that, look, the pinch in the oil supply globally is really going to actually harm China, for instance, because they are so dependent on Iranian oil, whereas we are a domestic exporter of oil at this point.
Sam, great question. And I'm not a specialist in world predictions, but the one winner here, clear winner, seems to be Putin.
And this is really kind of more of the same that we've been seeing over the last several days from Iran, as they have actually seemed to dial back the number of drones and missiles they've sent into the United Arab Emirates, but have been a lot more intentional about what they're targeting, either banking interests, things they say are directly retaliatory to what they've been seeing in Tehran, or critical infrastructure like oil infrastructure, the Strait of Hormuz, all the shipping interests that are in the Persian Gulf, and of course the airport here in Dubai, which has made great strides at getting things back up and running again. So the situation, it's funny, it doesn't feel that tense in the city of Dubai, but there is a continued campaign here to attack this city and this country. Anna.
Josh Einiger, thank you for your reporting there in Dubai. Colonel Mansour, at least 4 American troops died in this war just overnight, and the secretary spoke for almost 10 minutes before even mentioning that tragedy. In fact,
Yo.
It's Cash App because I'm ready for another cup. Don't know this one. Hold on. I can barely see. See what I'm saying? Nobody want to see a bunch of people in suits talking about it.
Fire. Iranian ballistic missiles struck central Tel Aviv. And according to footage broadcast by Iran's Press TV, at least some of them were not intercepted.
No!
The visuals show multiple explosions tearing through densely populated streets, burning vehicles, and thick black smoke rising over what appears to be a residential district. Associated Press images confirmed firefighters responding to scorched vehicles in central Israel after the strikes. Israel's Magen David Adom Rescue Service said at least 11 people had been killed since Sunday, according to the latest available figures. In Tel Aviv alone, at least 40 buildings were damaged in a single night of strikes, according to Haaretz, citing the city municipality.
Leave us up out of that
Iranian
shit.
ballistic missile, not fragments, struck next to an apartment building, leaving a massive crater and killing a Filipino caregiver who did not reach the shelter in
Israel
time.
forever. As a matter of fact, they've been dogging the hell up out of Iran for a long time.
Thursday night,
And they just pushed
Tel Aviv.
Iran a
Look
little
up.
bit too far.
Small, bright
And
objects
actually,
drifting
their
apart in the
country
sky,
bigger than
spreading in a
ours.
pattern no
Their
single
army
warhead
bigger than
produces.
ours.
Cluster munitions, That is what footage posted across social media appears to show. Submunitions dispersing above one of the most densely populated cities in the Middle East. Sirens screaming, civilians running, families pulling children toward public shelters in the dark. Iran said it had launched a hybrid drone and missile attack against Israel. But this was not a conventional barrage. What appeared over Tel Aviv on Thursday looked like something designed to scatter, to cover ground, to overwhelm. The IRGC announced the attack through state media, describing it as a combined drone and missile operation. The word hybrid is deliberate. It signals the deployment of multiple weapon systems in coordinated waves, a strategy Tehran has refined over weeks of sustained strikes under Operation True Promise 4. The cluster warhead footprint.
You didn't start your business to do taxes. Good thing we did. Block Advisors by H&R.
Man, we do not need the pressure of all this damn war and all this goodness gracious. We already was at war. We're at war right here.
In a conflict that is now stretched past its first week. But cluster munitions are not routine. They are banned under the Convention on Cluster Munitions, a treaty signed by over 100 countries. Neither Israel nor Iran are signatories. And what appeared in the sky over Tel Aviv on Thursday suggests that the rules of this war, if there were any left, have changed. The interception failed, Israeli officials said, and the IDF said it is under investigation. Air defense systems were activated, interceptors were fired, but the missile still got through. An Iranian ballistic missile with an estimated 500-kilogram warhead, according to the Home Front Command investigation, struck a residential neighborhood in Beit Shemesh, a city near Jerusalem, on Sunday afternoon. It hit with full force. The Homefront Command probe said the strike destroyed the synagogue above and impacted the public shelter beneath it. It badly damaged multiple homes in the surrounding area. 9 people were killed. Israeli emergency services reported dozens injured, including children. A 10-year-old girl was listed in critical condition. It was described by multiple outlets as the deadliest single strike on Israel so far in this round. Israeli media reported the Arrow system was not used against that missile, as the IDF reviewed what happened. The Arrow system is considered one of the most effective ballistic missile defense platforms in the world against exactly this type of threat. Instead, an interceptor from a different, less capable system was launched. It failed to bring the missile down.
They ain't playing. That just came in hot. Made me jump. I was like, goodness gracious, you're going to make me spill my goddamn coffee. Spilled it before it started. So you got to empty a cup. Oh, spilled it before you started. Shout out to old soul. See what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be in the middle of all that. Come on, man. My homies got some homies down there, though. Hope all you people safe. Are you ready for war? When they come banging, gonna ask for more. Like, Here they come. Here we go. Touchdown. No interception. Field. Yo. Field goal. Goodness gracious. And shout out to Cali. Better be on a high alert. The feds say that they are going to aim some of them drones down there at Cali. So y'all better look up. Watch what's happening. I know most people like to look down. You might find $100 bill. You never know. I found a $100 bill a long time ago. Memoirs of a Black Panther. Matter of fact, hold up. We can't just do war. We got to get the people more. What they came up in here for. Hell yeah. Oh, there he is. Yeah, man. It's crazy out there. And yeah, I found a $100 bill on the ground, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. Goodness gracious. Tell you about the $100 bill while we watch this.
Then fire.
Goodness
Iranian
gracious.
ballistic missiles struck central Tel
They
Aviv.
are not
And
joking.
according to footage broadcast by Iran's press TV, at least
But
some
yeah,
of
after I
them were
found
not
that $100
intercepted.
bill,
The visuals show
I
multiple
started looking down
explosions
there
tearing
every
through
day.
densely
I was
populated
looking down on the
streets,
ground,
burning
like,
vehicles,
nigga,
and
I
thick
found
black
nothing.
smoke rising over what appears
gonna
to
turn
be a
into a
residential
hunchback,
district.
looking
Associated Press images
Won't see
confirmed
the Bigfoot
firefighters
until you
responding
walk
to
into
scorched
his
vehicles in
nuts.
central Israel after the strikes. Israel's Magen David Adom Rescue Service said at least 11 people had been killed since Sunday, according to the latest available figures. In Tel Aviv alone, at least 40 buildings were damaged in a single night of strikes, according to Haaretz, citing the city municipality.
I'm not asking
A
for the
complete
world, just
Iranian
enough to give
ballistic
y'all
missile,
everything.
not fragments, struck next to an apartment
I'm working
building,
on it
leaving
myself.
a massive
I'm
crater
investing in
and
me.
killing a Philippine caregiver who
So
did
we
not
got a
reach the
nice-
shelter in time.
Well, we got a mic, boom arm stand.
Thursday night, Tel Aviv.
We
Look
got
up.
another stand.
Small,
for
bright
the,
objects drifting
4K
apart in the
camera.
sky, spreading in a pattern no single warhead
And,
produces. Cluster munitions.
laptop,
That is what footage
so we
posted
get it
across
all
social
in there.
media appears to show.
But with me,
Sub-munitions
I'm a-
dispersing above one of the most
Man,
densely
don't
populated
keep
cities in the
talking
Middle
while I'm
East.
talking,
Siren.
damn it. Yeah, what I was saying was, I like everything to light up. So I got everything is gaming up in here. Yeah, man, we talking about game on top of game. Hold up. So, yeah, I got the light up keyboard, the light up mouse, all this gaming stuff. So I don't know. I might have to start gaming. I don't know. Is there any thing I should know? Like, don't go on there messing around because you know they be betting. I was like, what? I'm gonna bet on whoever be winning then. That's how you do that. Coffee countdown. Gonna need y'all help real quick, real soon. And you see what it say? Y'all can get one of these too, you know. A black Ophenum Lion TV mug. Oh yeah. Put whatever you want in it. Just send the cash out to black. Well, $ black Ophenum #1. Mugs are 25. Shoot me that with the address, and I will send you one of those. Gotta pay shipping, so might as well add another $30. And let me see. I got the Black Ophenum Lion TV shirts. Oh yeah, hold up. See what I'm saying? Oh yeah, it's a nice gear there, boy. You can get them in black. I got mine in black, of course. You can get them in yellow. That yellow would look good on that joint, or even red, or some burnt, or some orange, or something like that. There, I know most don't like orange. We like, man, don't give me nothing orange. I remember one time somebody asked me a long time ago. This lady said, "You got some shorts I can put on?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll never wear these." And they were orange. Like, well, you ain't gonna give me no jail shit. Anyway, black to the war at hand.
Screaming, civilians running, families pulling children toward public shelters in the dark. Iran said it had launched a hybrid drone and missile attack against Israel. But this was not a conventional barrage. What appeared over Tel Aviv on Thursday looked like something designed to scatter, to cover ground, to overwhelm. The IRGC announced the attack through state media, describing it as a combined drone and missile operation. The word hybrid is deliberate. It signals the deployment of multiple weapon systems in coordinated waves, a strategy Tehran has refined over weeks of sustained strikes under Operation True Promise 4. The cluster warhead footage, if authentic, would represent a significant escalation in the type of munitions Iran is willing to use against Israeli population centers, not just military targets. In Tel Aviv, the response was immediate. Footage showed residents gathering at a public shelter, waiting in lines as sirens echoed through the streets. The scene has become routine in a conflict that has now stretched past its first week. But cluster munitions are not routine. They are banned under the Convention on Cluster Munitions, a treaty signed by over 100 countries. Neither Israel nor Iran are signatories. And what appeared in the sky over Tel Aviv on Thursday suggests that the rules of this war, if there were any left, have changed. The interception failed, Israeli officials said, and the IDF said it is under investigation. Air defense systems were activated, interceptors were fired, but the missile still got through. An Iranian ballistic missile with an estimated 500-kilogram warhead, according to the Home Front Command investigation, struck a residential neighborhood in Beit Shemesh, a city near Jerusalem, on Sunday afternoon. It hit with full force. The Home Front Command probe said the strike destroyed the synagogue above and impacted the public shelter beneath it. It badly damaged multiple homes in the surrounding area. 9 people were killed. Israeli emergency services reported dozens injured, including children. A 10-year-old girl was listed in critical condition. It was described by multiple outlets as the deadliest single strike on Israel so far in this round. Israeli media reported the Arrow system was not used against that missile, as the IDF reviewed what happened. The Arrow system is considered one of the most effective ballistic missile defense platforms in the world against exactly this type of threat. Instead, an interceptor from a different, less capable system was launched. It failed to bring the missile down.
Looking too good. I thought they were in the hood for a minute there. So wait a minute, stuff on fire. I mean, police lights. I thought police lights first. So don't y'all want to just go somewhere nice and peaceful?
Iran's Rocky Mountains, strange and formidable cities dug 500 meters deep into the earth, a place where thousands of ballistic missiles are ready to fire at enemies. Today, we're going to travel into the heart of these secret tunnels. The story of these missile cities is not a Hollywood sci-fi movie. Iran has taken its defense strategy underground for many years now. They have riddled the Zagros and Alborz mountains like Swiss cheese. The goal is to ensure no bomber or satellite can ever find them. The world was first shocked by these images back in 2015. General Hajizadeh appeared on TV and unveiled the depths of the earth. Images showed long concrete tunnels filled with giant missiles standing ready. This unveiling sent a clear message: we are armed even underground. These tunnels are not simple storage units, but complete military garrisons. Ventilation systems, emergency power, and soldier living quarters are all built in. Imagine a city that survives for months without needing the outside. This means even if there is war above, life flows below. The scary part of the story is the astonishing depth of facilities. It is said that some of these cities are dug 500 meters deep. This means the safest shelter against American and Israeli heavy bunker busters. Thick layers of rock and reinforced concrete are the main guardians here. Let's take a more technical and precise look at the underground structure. Missiles are parked one after another on special trucks and mobile launchers. This arrangement allows the firing speed to increase in a strange way. Basically, like a Kalashnikov magazine, the missiles are lined up in rows. Various types of long-range and medium-range ballistic missiles are stored in these cities, from the older Shahab 3 missiles to the precise Imad and Sijil. Each of these can hit a point thousands of kilometers far away. Missile diversity in these warehouses gives commanders a completely free hand to act. One of the IRGC engineering masterpieces here is the missile rail system. They have mounted missiles like train wagons on special underground tracks. This missile train allows the movement of munitions to happen very quickly. There is no need for hard trailer maneuvers in tight tunnel spaces. But the big question is, how are missiles fired from the mountain? There are launch silos with huge hatches opening right on the peaks. The missile is placed vertically under the hatch and fires suddenly. After firing, the hatch closes quickly so the location is not exposed. A new system unveiled recently is called the missile machine gun, or barrage. This system allows them to fire several ballistic missiles one after another. Previously, they had to wait for launchers to reload, but not anymore. This volume of continuous fire can confuse any air defense system worldwide. The walls of these cities are made of very special resistant concrete. Reverse engineering and local knowledge have made the structures earthquake-proof. The pressure of millions of tons of soil and rock is serious, but Iranian engineers have managed to keep these spaces stable for years. It is not just about missiles. Underground drone cities have been added too. Army Base 313 is one of these secret hideouts for unmanned birds. Drones exit the tunnel, perform operations, and return deep underground again. The combination of missiles and drones underground has become an enemy nightmare. These cities are scattered across the entire geography of Iran, north to south. Dispersion ensures that the enemy cannot destroy everything with a single attack. If a base in the west is hit, the east responds hard. This is the guarantee of survival strategy in Iranian military doctrine. You might ask, why has Iran spent so much digging up mountains? The answer is simple. Iran's air force is slightly weaker than the West's, so they compensated for the weakness in fighter jets with hidden missiles. This asymmetric strategy shifted the balance of terror in the Middle East. In these videos, we always see missiles fueled up and ready. Using solid fuel in new missiles like Sijil and Khaybar Shikan is key. Solid-fueled missiles can remain in the tunnel ready to fire for years. This means Iran's reaction time to an attack is just a few minutes. The interesting point is that no electronic signal ever leaves these cities. Communications are conducted through secure fiber optic cables buried under the ground. This means signal espionage and listening to their conversations is almost impossible. Complete radio silence is maintained until the moment the fire order is issued. Let's talk a bit about the psychology and media impact of this. Publishing images of these cities is considered a heavy psychological operation itself. Iran puts fear into the enemy's heart without firing a single bullet. The message is, we are everywhere and you cannot see us at all. Besides mountains, the IRGC has also built coastal missile cities near water. These tunnels on the edge of the Persian Gulf open directly to the sea. Anti-ship cruise missiles are aimed at warships from the heart of rocks. This means complete and invisible dominance over the Strait of Hormuz. Western experts admit they do not have a precise map of these cities. Satellites can only identify suspicious entrances, not the path of the tunnels. This uncertainty is the biggest challenge for American and Israeli war planners. They don't know exactly where on the mountain to drop the bomb. The sheer volume of missiles stockpiled in these cities is truly strange. According to estimates, thousands of missiles are hidden in dozens of cities. This high number allows Iran to manage a very long, drawn-out war. Even if besieged, they have enough ammunition to fight for many months. The technology to build these tunnels was localized by Khatam al-Anbaya headquarters. They use massive TBM drilling machines to speed up the work significantly. The experience of building metros and road tunnels has helped military industries. This is a strange synergy between civil engineering and the engineering of war. There are also assembly and repair sections located inside these underground cities, meaning parts enter separately and are assembled right there under the ground. This reduces the risk of moving complete giant missiles on open roads. Practically, the production factory and the storage warehouse are merged in one place. Friends, the existence of these cities has completely complicated the deterrence equations. The enemy knows a first strike cannot destroy Iran's missile capability because most of the arsenal remains untouched in the safe depth of Earth, and Iran's response or second strike will be very destructive and painful. The future of these underground cities will likely be more complex and smarter. Using artificial intelligence to manage launches is not far from the mind. We might see tunnels that are connected to each other in the future, a massive spider web underneath Iran that has absolutely no way in. Well, friends, did you see what a storm sweeps under the quiet mountains? Do you think these missile cities really guarantee the security of Iran? Make sure to write your opinion in the comments and like the video. Until the next video.
As a matter of fact, here's what you do. Make sure that y'all go to the Black Ophenham Lion TV.
War in Iran. What exactly has happened? Here's the story from Fox 5 in Washington, D.C. The U.S. House of Representatives passed a measure to automatically register men for the Selective Service, updating requirements for the first time in decades. Oh, wow. Just as we're in war now, to be fair, they did pass this in December. So this was in the December NDAA. And the rule change goes into effect this coming December 2026. So starting in December of 2026, all males aged 18 to 25 years old, or really 26, will be automatically registered for Selective Service. Now, proponents of this say this will just make things easier. Don't you understand? This just makes things easier because before young men had to remember to register, and if they didn't, it was a felony. And although they never got prosecuted, but this will just speed things up and make things easier. It's just easier for them. That's what this is. And others say, yeah, right. You guys are just wanting to make sure that we've got a military force of pawns that you could throw at an enemy and sacrifice their lives so that you guys could continue siphoning off resources, making a gob of money, and you just need young poor men to go on the front line. Okay, let's talk about how exactly this draft rule, what this has done. So before this coming December, the way it worked was there was no mandatory. It is mandatory to register for the Selective Service, but you had to go and physically do it. Essentially, you had to either register online or you had to mail it in at the post office. Or there were ways that young men between 18 and 25 years old could register for Selective Service. You're mandated if you're an American citizen to register for Selective Service within 30 days of your 18th birthday. Anyone who arrives in this country between the ages of 18 and 26 must register within 30 days of arriving to the country if they're in that age range.
Here we go.
So who has to do this is all male U.S. citizens and all male immigrants in that age bracket. And that includes, when they say immigrants, that's all immigrants. They're not just talking about legal ones. They're saying illegal immigrants, we don't care. You have to register for Selective Service. Could you imagine? I wonder how many illegal immigrants cross the border and say, well, now I got to follow the law and sign up for Selective Service so I can fight in the war. Asylum seekers also have to, refugees, permanent residents, everybody in that age range who's male, except I wonder how it works if you identify as female. Maybe you could get out of it that way. There might be a ton of sudden trans males coming up. Like we might see a lot of young men turn in female pretty quickly. So don't be shocked if we see skyrocketing rates of trans males, trans women. But there was a narrow group of exceptions, and one of those being, if you're a diplomat's kid, like I think Netanyahu's son doesn't have to do anything except sit on the beach and drink a bunch of
Trump's son, they'll be out there
mojitos,
on the
right?
golf
While they
course.
watch everybody in their country back in Israel have to go to war. Okay, so what Congress did was they then said, now we're going to make it just automatic registration. Previously, you would have to go and physically do it in some way. And then if there was a draft, then that would be run on a lottery system. And they would basically do it by birthday. They would have all the birthdays of the year, and then they would correlate those birthdays with certain numbers. And then they would draw a number out of the lottery, and that number corresponded with the set of birthdays. And those young men were called up for service, and that was automatic. They received induction notices. They had to go to war. When this happened in Vietnam, during the Vietnam War, it was pretty much right away. They didn't wait until they ran out of soldiers. They didn't wait until, we all of the ones that volunteered are dead, so now we got to turn to the draft. No, it happens pretty quickly. So don't think, well, we'll wait and see. And once we see a bunch of American soldiers dying in Iran, then they're going to do the draft. No, they might do the draft on us pretty quickly. They might actually make it happen faster. And Trump will make it seem, I would say that the Trump supporters will say, he's just doing it to scare Iran because we want to show them that we can assemble a giant military. But don't be fooled. A lot of young men before Vietnam, before they were sent off to Vietnam, when they received their induction notices, a lot of them did a lot of pretty extreme things in order to avoid being shipped off to war. My dad was telling me about some of the things that some of his friends did. Like one guy paid a friend to hit his leg with a sledgehammer. Another looked at a bright light. I think it was like at where they're looking at really bright lights. It's not the sun, but something else, like in a factory, and tried to make himself go blind in order to avoid service. So people do some pretty extreme things in order to avoid being sent off to war. And a person should not have to choose between their life or life imprisonment because their government, the oligarchs, the corrupt, greedy, money-making warmongers in Washington want to use them for cannon fodder. It should be a personal decision. But it, unfortunately, in many countries, it is not. And young men are viewed as pawns on a chessboard to be taken out in order to protect the king.
In 1995, I was shy, your maintenance man. You made me feel alive. From the first moment, I knew my heart was true. That's great. Every day since then, God has blessed me with you. Sonia, God brought joy and triumph, you make it right. It's funny how my mother and the mother I adore. So yeah, I thank God.
So here we are. They slip another one in.
Will we actually have a draft? That's the big question. And like I said, in Vietnam, they didn't wait until everybody died that volunteered. And so now we got to turn to you suckers. Sorry about that. We're just going to force it on you. Usually these drafts happen pretty quickly on. Here's Tucker Carlson talking about what could possibly implement and trigger a draft.
And what does it mean to win? Well, the most obvious and often repeated observation about this conflict is totally true. Iran's threshold for victory is very low. It just needs to survive. The regime has to remain intact. Now, in order to change the regime, everyone pretty much agrees you would need ground forces. You'd need troops, boots on the ground, American boots on the ground, in order to do that. And there is zero appetite for that in this administration, much less in the country. Israel would like us to commit ground troops, obviously, but it would take a lot to get us to do that. It would take some sort of terror attack in the United States, probably like 9/11, in order for us to do that. But that hasn't happened yet. We pray it never happens. So at this point, we're not going to commit.
I think he knew Trump knew what he was doing when he started putting troops in all these American cities. Because he knew what he was going to do. He was way ahead of the game. You know what I mean? While everybody else was talking, he was ready to jump on something. You know what I mean? So don't trust.
Sky spreading in a pattern no single warhead produces. Cluster munitions. That is what footage posted across social media appears to show. Sub-munitions dispersing above one of the most densely populated cities in the Middle East. Sirens screaming, civilians running, families pulling children toward public shelters in the dark. Iran said it had launched a hybrid drone and missile attack against Israel. But this was not a conventional barrage. What appeared over Tel Aviv on Thursday looked like something designed to scatter, to cover ground, to overwhelm. The IRGC announced the attack through state media, describing it as a combined drone and missile operation. The word hybrid is deliberate. It signals the deployment of multiple weapon systems in coordinated waves, a strategy Tehran has refined over weeks of sustained strikes under Operation True Promise 4. The cluster warhead footage, if authentic, would represent a significant escalation in the type of munitions Iran is willing to use against Israeli population centers, not just military targets. In Tel Aviv, the response was immediate. Footage showed residents gathering at a public shelter, waiting in lines as sirens echoed through the streets. The scene has become routine in a conflict that has now stretched past its first week. But cluster munitions are not routine. They are banned under the Convention on Cluster Munitions, a treaty signed by over 100 countries. Neither Israel nor Iran are signatories. And what appeared in the sky over Tel Aviv on Thursday suggests that the rules of this war, if there were any left, have changed. The interception failed, Israeli officials said, and the IDF said it is under investigation. Air defense systems were activated, interceptors were fired, but the missile still got through. An Iranian ballistic missile with an estimated 500-kilogram warhead, according to the Home Front Command investigation, struck a residential neighborhood in Beit Shemesh, a city near Jerusalem, on Sunday afternoon. It hit with full force.
Meanwhile,
the Home Front Command probe said the strike destroyed the synagogue.
Back at the ranch.
I am deeply concerned about the conference room. What? Conference room. How's that?
Injured.
He's concerned about the
A 10-year-old
conference
girl
room.
was listed in critical condition. It was described by multiple
I want it
outlets
thoroughly
as the
inspected
deadliest
for
single.
hidden devices.
3:35 a.m. The
What?
Persian Gulf, pitch black except for the running lights of the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group. Then, the radar operator's screen exploded with contacts. 36, inbound, Mach 2.5, anti-ship ballistic missiles. Iran had just made the most catastrophic mistake in modern naval warfare. They'd fired on an American carrier group. What happened in the next 25 minutes didn't just end the attack. It ended Iran's ability to ever try it again. By 4 a.m., 12 Iranian military facilities had been erased from existence, and the carrier group hadn't suffered a single casualty. This is the story of the night Iran learned that American carriers don't travel alone, and attacking one triggers a response so devastating, so immediate, that your military infrastructure is destroyed before you even know if your missiles hit. Let me show you exactly how the U.S. Navy turned a surprise attack into total Iranian capitulation in less time than it takes to brew coffee. 3:35 a.m., February 14th, 2026.
This is your war correspondent. I'm on Media News Black. 60 minutes, if you want to call it that. I'm trying to get up out of here. All I need from y'all at this point is a penny or 20 is okay vote first to say, or dub and above, like I say. Whether your gift is small or...
It's so easy to become a podcaster with Riverside. You just need a concept.
Why are they doing that to me all the time? Oh, you know what? We're going to try something. Okay. Let me get it together. Oh, man. I've been thinking about this for a minute anyway. So. But before I do that, we got one.
Secretary
One more
Hegseth
thing.
had a lot of media criticism during that briefing. He also rebutted what has been widespread reporting that the U.S. was taken by surprise, in fact, that Iran was able to seize control of the Strait of Hormuz, more or less close it, and, suggesting that, well, this is not an issue. He says, don't need to worry about it. But yet, not just the oil markets, but we know that in the administration, they're deeply concerned. This is a real pivot point for this conflict.
I can tell you, Jonathan, that if Secretary Hegseth is not worried about the Strait of Hormuz, he may be one of the handful of people on the planet who is not deeply worried about the choke point that Iran can impose there. And from all accounts, and I'll tell you based on my classified briefings, there has been inadequate planning for what is happening now in Iran, able and eager to stop the flow of oil and cripple the world economy if necessary. And what we have here is a war of whim and impulse, not even a war of choice, because the word choice implies a rational and calculated approach. But what's happening to the world markets on oil, and what we're doing, for example, in rewarding Russia, giving them a windfall by lifting sanctions on Russian sales of oil, we have yet to grapple with Russia's aiding Iran, not only with targeting information, but in other ways as well. So this widening, expanding war is deeply worrisome.
And there's never been a conflict where air power alone brought along regime change. And you came out of one of those classified briefings earlier this week, and you were visibly upset and said you were concerned at the possibility of ground troops in Iran. Now, again, we understand there's a limit to what you can say, but tell us what you can as to why you now have that fear.
Well, first, let me say, Jonathan, as a dad whose two sons served, one is a combat infantry officer in Afghanistan, Marine Corps, and the other is a Navy SEAL, I know what those families of all of the men and women in harm's way are going through right now, laying awake at night, wondering what's happening there, and the families who've lost loved ones, my heart goes out to them. What we see is a war with a variety of objectives, none of them clear: destroying enriched uranium, regime change, missile production and capacity, and stopping terrorism that's sponsored by Iran. None of these objectives is accomplishable by bombing alone. It has never worked, most recently in Afghanistan and Iraq. We controlled the airspace, we bombed, and the results speak for themselves. So what I fear is that the objective...
Greetings, Black family. This is Shabaka Sankori here in Oakland, California, the birthplace of the Black Panther Party. And this here is just showing you the museum that they have here. That sits here on the corner of Telegraph and Broadway here in Oakland, California. Black Panther Party Museum. There's a picture of the cat.
Why is he now, decades later, and 17 days into the war, trying to cobble together help dealing with the very same problem he so long ago allegedly predicted?
We strongly encourage other nations whose economies depend on the Strait far more than ours. You know, we get less than 1% of our oil from the Strait, and some countries get much more. So we want them to come and help us with the Strait.
Well, late today, foreign ministers from the European Union said no, and even as she admitted that European interests were at stake, the EU's top diplomat told reporters, quote, "This is not Europe's war." So with key allies not interested at this point, the president is now appealing to China, citing its dependence on Gulf oil.
On a switch.
China
They
is
can
an
figure it
example,
out how
should
to
be
put a
thanking us,
missile
but I don't
switch
expect
together.
to thank you, but they should be thanking us. Japan gets
We need to hurry up
95%,
and get this
China
over
91%.
So look, sir, we made a
Many of the
mistake.
countries, South Korea gets a tremendous percentage of their oil,
So what we
and therefore their
wanted to
energy
do was stop y'all from having nuclear
the
weapons.
Straits.
I think we've done
And
that. We're
for,
about
as they
it.
call it, the Strait. And they should be not
He
only
done made it
thanking us,
about
they
the
should
oil.
be helping
Plus,
us.
look at him.
What
He's
does
stuttering.
surprise me is
You
that
can't
they're
be
not
stuttering.
eager.
That means
to-
we know you lying.
The president today could not name a single country willing to join the effort. He suggested that some would be signing on shortly.
course not.
Complicating that message, the president today also said the U.S. didn't really need any help from anyone.
What? If you need no help,
I
you
don't
wouldn't
do a
ask
hard
for
sell
no
on
help.
them because my attitude is we don't need anybody. We're the strongest nation in the world. We have the strongest military by far in the world. We don't need them.
Got his chest poked
Now,
out
you might
so
think it's an
far,
odd thing for a president
man,
to
he
say
gonna
to
get
countries he's asking for
everybody
help
in
from,
some
which he said he was
nonsense.
in that same press conference.
Let's just
Then
say
again,
he carrying
he
it just
also
like
said
them
that
old school mobsters that I've been covering.
It's
on
interesting.
Mobster
I'm almost
Files.
doing it in some cases, not because we need them, but because I want to find out how they react. Because I've been saying for years that if we ever did need them, they won't be there. Not all of them, but they won't be there.
Well, he said that about NATO. This is NATO countries saying
never
it's not
kicked Obama out
their
of
war.
NATO.
In the space of a day, the president has said he wants help dealing with the repercussions of a war that nobody could expect, but which he predicted
Or any
decades
other
ago.
president never
He said
got
that he
kicked
doesn't
out of
actually
NATO.
need the help that he
This
is
guy
asking
gets
for, and
kicked
says in
out
some
of
cases
NATO.
he's only
How
asking
do you
to
do
see
that?
what the reaction will be of America's allies. So there's all that from 2 appearances in a single day, day 17 of the war, with oil near $100 a barrel. But there was also this.
I've spoken to a certain president who I like, actually, a past president, former president. He said, I wish I did it. I wish I did, but they didn't do it. I'm doing it. Yeah.
Which president?
I can't tell you that. I don't want to embarrass him. It would be very bad for his career, even though he's got no career left.
That's the current president saying a former president told him that. Tonight, a spokesman for former President Bill Clinton tells us that no recent conversations have taken place between the two. Aides to former Presidents Bush, Obama, and Biden said there's no record of any communications with the president. Jeremy Diamond starts off our coverage tonight from Tel Aviv. So what's the reaction been there to the president's demand for the U.S. allies to get involved in the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, Anderson, there's no question that in this region, there has been a lot of questions about how exactly the Strait of Hormuz will get reopened. We've been hearing President Trump talking about this for days now, and yet no real allies or other countries have stepped up to join the United States and saying, we're going to send ships to that strait in order to get it reopened. And a lot of that stems, of course, from the fact that President Trump ultimately decided to launch this war amid those negotiations that were still happening with Iran, basically just consulting with Israel and going in with Israel into this military operation that has now escalated into a pretty full-blown regional war. And so there's no question that many of these countries, Europeans in particular, don't have the appetite right now to send their ships to assist in this effort, in part because they do very much realize that sending ships there likely means that those ships will get attacked, likely means that they will be dragged into a conflict that is already continuing to expand. From Israel's perspective, I think the real question is, how long will President Trump be able to stomach the Strait of Hormuz being closed and oil prices continuing to rise? There's a keen understanding here that President Trump is very attuned to the effect that this is all having on global markets, on gas prices in the United States. And every day here, Israeli officials wonder whether President Trump is going to say, listen, that's enough. I can't stomach this anymore, and bring this campaign to an end. Israel needs the United States in order to continue this war in Iran, which Israeli officials have indicated will continue for at least 3 more weeks.
The strike this morning on the Dubai airport was not the last of it. As we reported at the top, air defenses in the UAE are responding right now to another wave of incoming missiles and drones. And that's not all. Nick Robertson is in Kuwait.
For the longest time. They didn't just
Anderson, a little while ago, the air raid sirens went off right in the center of Kuwait City. And you can see how busy it is now. Well, nobody ran for cover for the shelters. And that's because...
Hey, music creators, ever felt frustrated that your tracks don't sound as polished as top hits? Enter Major Mixing. With a squad of Apple certified engineers globally, we elevate your music to meet Apple Digital Master standards. Over 1,000 projects later, we're the go-to
material damage, they say. Further south in the Gulf there, Iran keeping up its attack, ballistic missiles on Qatar, drones on Qatar, the same for the UAE near Dubai airport, big plumes of smoke early in the day when an oil storage tanker was hit. And actually in the Gulf there, the Strait of Hormuz, Iran saying it's not closed, but it effectively is for most countries. Iran allowing vessels, it says, are not aligned in the war against it. We understand a couple of Pakistani and Indian oil tankers did pass through. Saudi Arabia today saying that almost 30 drones intercepted there. And on the west coast of Saudi Arabia, down the Red Sea, another vital route where Saudi Arabia exports oil to into the global economy, vital for the global economy, because of course the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Iran's military spokesman today indicating that they might start attacking facilities in the Red Sea, that they support the USS Gerald Ford carrier, a strike group there. So that is a worry in particular for Saudi Arabia, that the war essentially could envelop the whole Arabian Peninsula. Anderson?
Nick Robertson, thanks very much. Join me now at the map table here, retired U.S. Army Brigadier General Mark Kimmett, CNN National Security Analyst Alex Plitzis, and retired Navy Rear Admiral John Kirby, who previously served as a spokesperson for the Pentagon, State Department, and National Security Council. General Kimmett, just going into now the 3rd week of the war, the administration seems to be saying, look, you know, it's going incredibly well. The stuff in the Strait, these other strikes, this is a sideshow. Is that accurate, or is the Strait and these other things a sign of it's not going as well as the administration would like it?
Well, I think it's important to understand that the air campaign has been going very well. The naval campaign is a different issue. What the Iranians are doing is they're going after the economic targets. It's all about oil at this point. Obviously, we're talking about Kharg Island. But as we said last time, very little of this is going to lead to victory, particularly the air component of this. So
victory for the United States.
Victory for the United States and defeat for the Iranians. The Iranians are withstanding this quite well, candidly.
You're defining victory. I mean, the administration could very well define victory as, well, we did what we wanted to. We degraded them. We mowed the lawn, and we declared a victory.
Sure, but we've also heard terms like unconditional surrender. We've heard terms like regime change. So I think truly my definition of victory is no nuclear program, no ballistic missiles, no proxy programs. I don't think that, just like we talked about before, body counts didn't make a difference in Vietnam, and plinking ballistic missile launchers isn't going to win this war.
This is how Iran would respond if the United States attacked.
I knew about the Strait, that it would be a weapon.
which I predicted a long time ago, predicted all of this stuff.
The president claimed that there are some nations that have signed on to help. He declined to say which ones or to name them, as he's also been making the argument and criticizing them for not helping the United States and not responding to his request. He's also simultaneously arguing that their help isn't needed anyway.
We have some that are really enthusiastic. They're coming already. I have that from a number of them, and I'd like to say their names, but frankly, I don't know if they would want me to or not. My attitude is we don't need anybody. We're the strongest nation in the world. We have the strongest military by far in the world. We don't need them.
In the meantime, even as this war has continued to rage, the president also today is talking about what the timeline of that is going to look like and saying that his trip to China, scheduled for just over 2 weeks from now, could be delayed by a month so he can monitor the war. The president clearly today also made it plainly obvious that he also has set his sight on another country.
You know what I'm saying?
I do believe I'll be having the honor of taking Cuba.
The honor of taking Cuba
in some form, yeah.
What
taking
a damn
Cuba,
dictator.
Whether I free it, take it, I think I can do anything I want with it.
How about that?
I want to bring in tonight the former Deputy Director of National Intelligence, Beth Sanner, and also the head of Crude and Equity Partner at Onyx Capital Group, Manny Newman. It's great to have both of you here tonight because, Beth, first, just on this breaking news, and I want to note tonight as we're watching what's happening with near the U.S. Embassy compound in Baghdad.
What's wrong with his brain?
What returning back to the White House earlier, which isn't typical something that we've seen in this hour. It was the Vice President, the Joint Chiefs Chairman, Secretary Hegseth. They were there for a little bit, and we've asked the White House, if anything was going on. This video started to come out of the.
Okay. What? Oh, hold on.
Have used their close-in air defense system called CRAM, and this is a system that's designed to take out drones and these kind of rockets that you would normally see fired by the Iranian-backed militias in Iraq.
They're running
if you look at some of the tragedies that we've had recently with losing U.S. service people in Kuwait and then previously in Jordan, right on the Syrian border there, both of those circumstances, those outfits were not outfitted with CRAMs. They didn't have this air defense system. So, we're lucky that they have it there in Baghdad. It was put there purposefully because of this, and we're seeing it accurately do its thing. It does work.
The top of the hour, you saw that dramatic video of the situation that's unfolding near the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. We have more video tonight, giving us a better view of what's happening on the ground. We're following breaking news out of Iraq this hour, where the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad has come under attack this evening. This video just into CNN shows multiple explosions near the compound.
In the war tonight, there has been an explosion near the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. Video that CNN has geolocated shows the moment that a projectile consistent with the drone hits the area around the embassy. Air defense rounds can also be seen in the sky. We are, of course, monitoring the situation and we'll bring you the latest updates as we get it. But as this war continues, a new turn involving the White House's posture. President Trump has spent the better part of a year criticizing America's allies, tariffing them, hurling insults at their leaders, threatening to leave NATO, and ultimately saying that the U.S. doesn't need them at all. But now he's requesting assistance to secure the Strait of Hormuz, and he's not happy with their response.
Countries, and then do you have any minesweepers? And they say, well, would it be possible for us not to get involved? I've been saying it for a long time. This is the greatest thing to come out of this. We spend trillions and trillions of dollars on NATO to defend other countries. And I always said, but if it ever comes time to defend us, in the White House, many of them would not be there.
For real.
But and we're going to have to start thinking more wisely in this country.
Sources tell CNN that U.S. officials spent the weekend trying to rally support from foreign allies hoping that they could announce a coalition soon.
I think something
But today,
wrong with
almost in the same breath of calling for help, Trump is insisting that he doesn't need anyone else to get the job done.
I don't do a hard sell on them because my attitude is we don't need anybody. We're the strongest nation in the world. It's interesting. I'm almost doing it in some cases, not because we need them, but because I want to find out how they react.
But we just can't get
Now,
to
Trump
that
says that
waterway.
some countries have told him that they are eager to help, but we still don't know which ones he's talking about.
Financially.
And many allies have
We'll
actually
send you a
publicly
donation.
rebuffed the president, like Germany. More blunt than that, Anna. And the president is also
Get
doing
more blunts
this,
than that.
at least according to recent
Hold up.
American history,
Did she?
particularly the
It's
lead
hard
up
to
to the
get more
Iraq
blunts
War,
than that.
without doing this in
Which
advance.
remind me,
He's trying to
I
cobble
need y'all to
together a
hit the cash app
coalition
because I got
after
to
the
go to the
fact.
stove.
You can say what you will about how the Bush administration handled the Iraq War, but they went to Congress and got an authorization for military force. They went to the allies, put together
If
a
it ain't
coalition. of
brown,
the
don't
willing,
pass it around.
Then they went in.
As did Bush 1. As you will remember, when in Desert Storm, there was a
Said as
UN-backed
bluntly as I can.
international coalition. Listen, Donald Trump hasn't made the case to the American people. We haven't so much as had an address to the American people about what he is doing in Iran. It's been all over the place. So it's hard to
Speaking of which, hold up. Too many talking heads. Where all these talking heads come from. And there you go. Gomer Pyle. Da-da, da-da, da-da. I don't want nobody to be Gomer Pyle. I'm telling you now. Not in this one. They not fighting with nothing but rockets. You can't fight a rocket. No armor gonna work. But bear with me for one moment. I got a surprise. Yeah, you know me. Always got something special for the people. Indeed. I'm like Muhammad Ali said.
The owner's big $1 million making in the white man's world of prestige who speaks to his people 100% and don't give a damn about the money, being shot, take the title, take it all, and to go to jail tomorrow. I love my people, and I'm not going to sell them out, make no movies, and mislead them and marry blondes because I'm one Negro who the boss let me come in the council and the rest of them in the fields catching hell. I'm going to the fields and represent them if it means die. So that's why I'll fight.
I went to St. Louis, Missouri the other day. They had Black Panthers from all over the country. No one knew about it at all. They had machine guns, recoilless rifles, grease guns, Lugers, 25 of them, all armed. The chief policeman at the airport when I arrived, they were there, right there at the steps. He said he was violating the law. Yeah, we're violating the law. He said, we're tired of our white and black leaders, Jackie and Martin and Bobby being killed. We're going to protect this man right here. They didn't arrest one of them. Because they said if you arrest one, then someone's going to die. Because we are ready to kill. Like all means, black dignity. Just as surely as you're proud to be white, we're proud to be black. Black is beautiful, baby. It's pretty. I always say to my brothers, I say, they don't worry about the white chicks. We got everything from chalk to charcoal in our own race. Side by side with you, or through you. We're going to be with dignity and integrity. We don't want any more than you have, and we're not going to accept any less than you have. That's enough. is being made. If you take a knife and my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that's below me. And they haven't even begun to pull a knife out, much less trying to heal the wound. They won't even admit the knife is there.
Right time. So I'm gonna give y'all the real spill. While they're giving y'all that fake news, we're gonna give you the real deal. Hold the feel, baby. I've been wanting to try this. I don't know if I'm ready though. It's just an experiment for now. Yeah. I'm about to do this from memory. Wait a minute, hold up. Hold up. You know when somebody really think they getting ready to throw down, they clear their throat. You know what I mean? So I'm about to mute myself for a minute. Hold up. Looking through the files, y'all. Looking through the files. Like be professional. One of the reasons I had to make some investments. Sure you can hear me loud and clear without using the megaphone. Well, damn, just got myself an idea. I should go get the megaphone, turn the microphone down, and have the best of both worlds. Either that or y'all. Like, man, turn down. I think I'm gonna do it. Okay, here we go. It's the theme song for Nightmare Fuel. All right, let's do this. I had to borrow that beat. It said free beats. So I'm gonna use the free beat on the Nightmare Fuel. If you don't mind, give me a second. I might just blow your mind. Hold up. Did I say perfectionist? Damn sure did. You know, I'm talking about blowing mine. I said, man, you ain't never gonna blow nobody's mind with your microphone stuck on DJ mode. You know, when I have it, so it sound like the what's his name from Soul Train. So yeah, welcome to the hippest groove around. But today, we trying to get buck wild, and I think that's going to require something. A little something. Well, a little something, maybe not too much. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Oh, here we go. Bear with me. Put a 1 in the comments if that sounds better. Well, not if I'm gonna talk to you, but if I'm gonna do this, that might be better. Here we go. Let's do it one more time. Oh, move this out of my way. Man, I got too many screens. That's another thing. I need the people to help me get more. Well, I gotta get one monitor first. I would say 2 more. Is this a little bit better? Especially with that one there. That one booming. Hold up. Did I say perfectionist? Hold tight. Y'all got to bear with me for one moment. Because I used to always do this when me and my band was going to record. And we got to put it on like this too. I forgot. Almost forgot. Like a reaction video. You know? But damn, I don't want to show my face. I'm the black revolutionary voice of the people. That means I'm the voice of the people. No, I got to put it back on DJ mode to do that. But before I do that, let me do this. I don't own the rights to that beat, but I own the rights to the lyrics that's coming out of my head. Can you dig it? That's another song I got. Can you dig it? All right, let's play the intro. Like this. Do it my way. Bear with me. We coming. We got to do it my way. Here we go. This is how you start a song. And you test out your microphone. Did you catch it? What? Man, I got lighters on every side of the bar. Wherever you at, there's gonna be a lighter there. And depending on what kind of broadcast you get out of you, you can put it in your pocket. Hey, it's all yours, homie. Shout out 607 on. Know you be needing them lighters. Come on through, homie. Nightmare fuel. Nightmare fuel. Check this shit. Laid back, about to light it up. Kick the tracks, fill up them cups. With the C's and P's. I mean, see them G's. Every word that I spoke. You know they try to silence today. Know that I'm woke. I ain't going out that way. Nightmare fuel. They want to keep a brother down. Keep my sister and my brother broke. I'm here to shake you, wake you up. Fuck to sleep, stay woke. I'm your nightmare fuel. Fantasy Black Panther revolutionary. And like 607 on, say stop. Playing with me. Up against the wall. Fight or flight. Only one way out. Up. Got red, black, and green flag. They get real fudged up. Ha ha. I'm your nightmare fuel. left at the way in looking for a way out. You know what I'm saying? Stop playing with me. Something just broke. I'm your nightmare fuel. Keep you up all night. Fudge to sleep. Stay woke. I try to be nice, but I'm really that ninja. Most folks don't want to play, cause they never get figure. Ha! I'm the nightmare fuel. Fudge put the thing on the trigger. Live rent free in your head, remember? Tell them, stop playing with me. Something just broke. I'm the nightmare fuel. Keep you up all night. Fudge, sleep, stay woke. Without no doubt, Yeshua bless y'all. And I'm out. Black, powerful. Stay blessed and progressive, always. And don't forget what the monk said. Get up in the morning and write down, today will be my peaceful day. Yeah. And thank the Creator for all that we have and all that we gon' have. So hit the Cash App too, so I can get a cup of coffee or two. Black power, y'all.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country,